Happy Self-Love Sunday. I am Moe Sass, the host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am a certified life coach who likes to consider herself an aid in the village that walks along people throughout their journey to help them live the life they so desperately desire, whether that's in terms of financial stability, the relationships of all kinds, whether that means mother, father, daughter, children, partner, spouse, whatever that is. Also creating plan Bs in their lives. I work a lot with empty nesters because that's a tough transition for moms and dads when our children grow up and they move about. So it's like, what am I going to do with my life? What is it left for me to do? Especially when you've thrown majority of your life into your spouse and your children. So this is where we come every Sunday. And first, I want to say to my first time listeners, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is where we come every single Sunday to talk about all the things, right? So today I want to talk about November 4th was a new moon. So I want to talk about new beginnings in the month of November. So what is it that you have to say no to in order to have the new beginning that you so desperately desire in your life? It's so funny because when I was doing, I am a moon, star, sun girl. That's just who I am, right? So I was doing my new moon ritual, writing down all the things that I desire in my life and putting some things together and then truly writing down the things that no longer align with me anymore. So I had to really dig deep in myself, and this is what I work on with my clients as well, to say, okay, well, what is it that I have to give up? Because in order to make room for the new, you have to let go of the old. And a lot of times people think when I say that or when others say that, it's like automatically it's like let go of people. I don't know if that's true for you. There's so many different things. Sometimes it's just old belief patterns about yourself. I remember there was a time when, I couldn't think past a five-figure salary, right? That was just a time in my life where I couldn't think past that. So I had to let go of some old limiting beliefs about myself and who I was and what I truly desired in my life in order to get to that next phase and that next step. So letting go, most times it is a mindset. And when you let go of a mindset, that may mean that, environments change, your soul tribes change, your relationships of all kinds change. And it's about how you look at change. So I always like to be very, very honest when I come here because I think that's the only way to be. Because a lot of times when people talk about change, it's like, yes, let's get excited about change. And there are some changes that we are just not excited about. There are because sometimes you can't see the forest beyond the trees, right? So let's talk about it because I love my ladies, I love my clients, and even my men that I have a male client, and we kind of all of us are having the same conversation in our sessions, and it has a lot to do with relationships in terms of staying or going. And I find that a lot of times people ask questions, but I'm like, are you asking the right question? So when we talk about in terms of relationships and in terms of, this change and, if I'm letting it go or if I'm keeping it, it's you have to ask yourself the question, can we grow together? Can you grow together? And there are times when you have to be honest and real with yourself about that commitment that you're deciding to make, right? Whatever that is. So you may have to say no to some things to make room for the new. Make room for that person that you can grow with, right? That is willing to grow with you. So that's a very important thing, and it's not to be taken lightly. And I always tell people, this is your life story. This is your life story. So you have to be comfortable with your decisions. When you come and sit in front of a life coach, and I'm much more than a life coach. If you go to www.moessass, I am also an energy healer. I am also a Reiki master, and I do energy readings for people. So there is so many different platforms, or not really platforms, but pieces of me, right? These are the pieces. I heard Ledesi playing in my mind. If you don't know that song, "Pieces of Me," listen to it, honey. Especially if you're spiritual. And what I mean by spiritual is I have a personal relationship with God. You'll love it. You'll love it. So again, back to what I was saying, there may be some, some things that you have to let go, some limiting beliefs about relationships, some limiting beliefs about love. These are all the things that you have to tap into. So I know the question is, how do you tap into that? And it really, I'm going to tell you, I think a great way to do it is I just spent, it was supposed to be 21 days. It ended up being 32 days on just loving me. And what that means is every single day I was journaling, about different facets of me. What the things that I love, the things that I wanted to work on, really, really doing the deep healing work. And I am, like I said to you, I am never, ever going to pull your chain. When you decide to do healing work, it is tough. Oh, listen, I'm a very positive, optimistic, caring, loving person. And I'm here to tell you, when you decide to go deep in your healing, when you're working on unlearning all the things that you used to believe and unlearning all the environments that you came from, the limiting beliefs, all that stuff, sometimes it can really feel like this massive, overwhelming thing. And it may make you want to run back to what's comfortable. And here's the thing, if you desire new beginnings and you really do the healing work, I'm going to tell you that running back to what's comfortable isn't an option. If you are truly serious about letting in the newness. So running back to those old limiting beliefs, running back to those old environments that cause you to be in the place that you are right now, right? Like, why are we running back to what's comfortable? Really, it's about having the mindset of believing that what's on the other side is beautiful. And right now it may seem a little foggy and you're not really sure, and that's okay. But really and truly, if you keep on doing the work, and I always tell my clients to follow the yellow brick road, and you will find that you always had the courage and you always had the heart within yourself. It's just that you run along people like me along your journey that helps you really lift up into that and understand that everything is always working out for you, even when you feel like it's not. So again, I'm going to ask you, what are the things that you need to say no to this month that's going to prohibit you from walking into the newness of what you desire? I was listening to a preacher the other day talk about the end of the year, because the end of the year is a very stressful time for people. It's the holiday season. Holiday season are triggers for a lot of people. It brings up a lot of trauma in people. And he said something like, this is a time of the year where you're going to be hit with not just frustrations, but temptations. And it's going to be frustrating because you're unsure of the new, and then you're going to be tempted by the old. That's why some of those old people are going to be knocking on your door. Some of those old nasty habits that you have are going to be calling to your spirit, right? Because this is a time of temptation and frustration. And this is the thing. You have to love yourself enough to not allow that. You have to love yourself enough to set up strong boundaries and really, truly take this time to love on you. Don't allow the holidays to pull you backwards. I know it's a stressful time. And I gave, if you follow me on my social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram, is Life Coaching with the W, because I don't spell without sass, and that's S as in Sam, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, S as in Sam. If you follow me, I talked about the fact of, Christmas, December 2010 was when my son was murdered. That was the hardest Christmas of our lives that we had to get through. So there's times that, and then I think about the fact that my kids think about the last Thanksgiving they spent with their brother before Christmas. So, holidays can bring up all of these emotions and all of this trauma in your life. And this is why I'd say to anyone under the sound of my voice that this is why it's so important to be in tune and in touch with your higher power. I don't care what you call it. We talk about that all the time. I say my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You don't have to say that. You can say Buddha. You can say Allah. You can say the universe. You can say the God within you. You can say a tree. It doesn't matter to me what you call it. The most important thing is that you become in tune and in touch with it. Because it's the very words that leap off the page that help save my spirit so many days when I think about all the things, right? All the triggers and the traumas that come up. Those are the things that save me. Those are the things that keep me going. A lot of times people ask me, like, how do you keep going through everything that you've been through? And I like to say that I am so grateful that I'm connected to spirit. Spirit saves me. Spirit moves me. I have a lot of gifts, and one of the gifts that I have is that I'm allowed to see the trueness of people, their true heart, their true soul. So when you're gifted with such a thing, you see the good in people, and that's a gift and a curse. Sometimes it's gonna tell you that, because sometimes, like, when you have that gift, you can see the heart, but and here's the thing: sometimes you just have to see what is. Because not everyone's willing to do what we're doing right now, which is listening to those podcasts, listen to those people willing to grow, willing to change, willing to shift, willing to open themselves up to the newness, right? And they're okay being comfortable where they are, and that's okay. We can't punish people for wanting to be in their comfort zone. We have to love and accept them for where they are, and we have to then keep going and open ourselves up to the new. So again, what must you say no to in order to open up to the newness? Right? What old belief do you have to let go of? What ways of being do you have to let go of? If you are looking to start a business, what ways of being do you have to let go of to have the strength and the courage to maintain throughout it? If you want to better your best in terms of all the relationships in your life, what limiting old beliefs must you let go of? What people, places, or environments do you have to let go of to really let that love in, the true love that you desire, to stop self-sabotaging the love that is in your life, right? So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Are you truly ready for what you prayed for? And that's the other thing. When we talk about letting in new beginnings, the question is, am I ready for what I prayed for? And if you feel like you're not, because I want to say this, we are all worthy of everything. Being ready is a total different aspect of it, right? So I always ask God to prepare me, make me ready for the desires of my heart, whatever that looks like. And there's times when I had to leave things behind, old thought patterns, people I used to be around, places I used to go. I even changed my house around some, right? Really shifting things in my life. So these are the things that, we have to come to an understanding about. So again, what must you say no to in your life to make room for that new beginning? A lot of times those old beliefs were the things, it's funny, I had to talk with someone who comes to me for coaching advice for free, because that's my girl, right? And we were having this conversation because she's a very, very hard individual. She's really hard. But the thing that she so desperately desired was community and being surrounded with a soul tribe who loves her. And the thing is that they showed up. But the very things that she needed to protect herself throughout her journey up until this point is no longer serving her. It's pushing away the people that were sent to love her. So we had to have that discussion. So what are the things that you need to say no to anymore? Saying no to that 10-year-old in you. Saying no to that 15-year-old in you. Saying no to that 16-year-old in you, because we're now in our 40s and 50s and they're still running our lives and they're still running amok. Saying no, I have this, really going in and healing that trauma. Really going in and healing that trauma and letting them know that you can't run the show anymore. Going in and heal the mama and daddy wounds. There's so many people that I come across that desire love and can't get there because they still haven't healed their mommy issues. There's those abandonment wounds. And the love comes in and they think, oh, this person is really going to hurt me in the end. So they lead with fear instead of love. And when you lead with fear instead of love, it causes all of these angst and issues. And then now you're stepping out on the relationship and you're telling lies. And then there's mistrust and there's all these things, all because we didn't heal. So what must you say no to let into the new beginnings? Maybe it's time to say no to all those things and really step into your healing journey and getting help along the way. I am one that believes in having a therapist. I'm a one that believes in having a life coach, hence why I became one in your life to help you along those journeys. Maybe it's saying no to those old friends that ride with your BS and really saying yes to yourself and stepping into this season and getting help for yourself so that we can stop, bleeding all over people, because hurt people hurt people. So what must you say no to open up the door to new beginnings in your life? So, and it's like with the holiday season especially, people get anxious. So maybe it's saying no to, you know what, I'm not going to feel that way anymore. I'm going to going to see my family, or my family's coming to see me, and I'm going to be totally me and accepting of them being totally them. So the way sometimes to stop the angst and the anxiety is not to be too far in the future and tell yourself all these stories about what's going to happen. Just let it be. I'll give you an example. Last night, and hence the bags under my eyes, I went with my mom to her. Her and her friend Gail have been friends since like teenagers, right? They've been friends, and my mom is the friend that always shows up to the things, and she needed a driver because she can't see as well, so I'm like driving Miss Daisy. But I love Gail. She's like an aunt to me, so I wanted to go to the party. And at first, because me and my mother, we oil and water, okay? I told you guys I'm not going to come in here and tell you no lies with a neck roll. We're oil and water. And I could have went in telling myself all the stories about what it was going to be and that we were going to argue. And I didn't do that. I decided to say no to those old limiting beliefs about what our relationship was and just allow to be in the moment. And we had the very best time ever. And it's because I allowed her to be herself and she allowed me to be myself. We have to come to grips with we are who we are. It doesn't make either person bad or good. It just makes us who we are. She knows I'm her daughter. When I walk in the room, I'm like, hey, I'm here. This is me. If I feel like dancing, I'm going to dance. If I feel like singing, I'm going to sing. If I feel like hugging on people, I'm going to hug on the people. I'm going to read the room. I'm going to love the room. She's come to grips with, like, that's just who she is. Right? And I had to come to grips with who my mom is and be okay with that. And we had the most beautiful time. And I'm just going to share it with you because I always say that I was born to be a wife. Listen, everybody doesn't want that, and that's okay. I know that God did that thing with me. I was just born to love. Right? It's like that's what I was made to do. So I knew I was born to be a wife. And what was so beautiful was we thought it was just going to be her 65th birthday party, and it ended up being a vow renewal ceremony for her and her husband. I think they've been married well over 20 something years, and it was just the most beautiful thing to see. But what I learned by listening to that is it wasn't when he saw her, it wasn't just about what she could do for him. It was about what he could do for her. And he loved her not just because of her body, but because of her mind and all the things. Because my Aunt Gail is bad to the bone. She's brilliant. She's beautiful. She's a diva, honey. And it's like what I love about her is she's unapologetically her, and she was bad from head to toe. And I'm like, yes, because I feel like that's me. When I walk in the room, I'm me from head to toe. And it helps you to know that love is there for you, right? They give you that hope that love is there for you. And she said the same thing. What she loved about him was he didn't come in trying to shift her and to change her and to mold her to who he needed her to be, but he loved her for who she was. And he knew she was this outgoing and loving and diva-ish, and this is what she was. And he also knew, and this is what I loved about it, they both knew they weren't a finished product. And he knew to lead in such a way that It didn't shrink her, but it helped elevate her. I thought it was so beautiful. It was like, yes, like I love that kind of love. It's a healing love, right? It's a healing love. And she waited for that love, and he waited for that love. Because think about it. I said she's 65, and it was like 20 something years. They waited for that love. And they had been married before. They both had been married and divorced before, right? But it was like they knew. They knew. And it's through sickness and health, because he's having some health issues right now. And my girl's right there. with her diamond headband on and all, still taking care of her husband. And I love that. It was so beautiful to see. Why am I sharing that story? I'm sharing that story because they both had to say no to some old patterns, some old beliefs in their life in order to have the newness of what they have. And they joined together, with God in their life. And I always say that that's the most beautiful thing, when you join together with in anything, in your business, in your relationship with your children, significant other, if you desire love, or if you just know you a wife, honey. Like I know I walk like a wife, I talk like a wife, I carry my body like a wife, I carry my mind like a wife, so it's not just gonna be any and everything and anyone. No, boo-boo. Okay? Right? And I love that because I get that from the women in my life, So I just say that they had to say no, and God was the center of their marriage. It was a man and a woman who loves God and seeks God. He will open up your eyes to who that person is, and you will know. Someone needed to really hear that today, so I'm sharing this. I was like, when I'm doing Self-Love Sundays, I have a topic and I come in with it, and the stories just kind of filter in, because someone needed to hear that today. Someone who's listening to the sound of my voice need to hear that today. Keep your eye on your higher power, and they will open your eyes, because that very same thing that you're praying for is praying for you too. Even with that business, right? It sounds weird to say it that way, but it's true. It's true. But what must you say no to have the new beginnings of what your God has for you, what the universe has for you? What must you say no to? What must you say no to? You cannot walk in the same. You cannot be the same and expect newness. You just cannot do it. You can't. It doesn't work that way. And I talked about my friend who had that hard coding shell, right? So it's that healing that really walk into your healing. Know that you don't have to walk in it alone. You have people. www.moessass.com or info@moesass.com. Email me if you're not sure what appointment to make, because some people I don't know whether to book you as a life coach. I don't know whether to get a reading from you. I don't know what is it. It's okay. Email me. Let's talk through it. I have clients that do both, as a matter of fact. I just had one on Friday, and going through the similar things. And it's like we're looking for everybody on the outside of us to change, so to be who we think we need to be. They need to be, for us, never realizing, no, it's us that needs to change. You're looking for everybody else to change. You're looking for your children to change. You're looking for your spouse to change. You're looking for your boyfriend or girlfriend to change. You're looking for that person you were dealing with to change. You're looking for everybody to change. And that's not how that works. That's not how that works. You have to change. And then when you change, those people, places, and things may not be in your life anymore. And this is the question. When you close the door to walk into the newness, you close the door of the old. That means you have to keep moving forward. Don't go back in that door. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Because to go back in that door, that means you have to go back to who you used to be. Go back to the things you used to do. Go back to the feelings of the old. You have to ask yourself, what do I have to say no to walk through this new beginning? And here's the thing. I always say this to people. You don't know what you don't know. So stop looking at it as a bad thing. Closing that door, walking into the newness of all that you are and all that awaits you, you never know what's on the other side of it. So the very things you may feel like you're closing the doors to may meet you on the other side. New, right? So I want to come and tell you that. It's all in how you look at it, and I know it's not easy. This is why we get to lean on help. We get to call in our soul tribe. We get to call in our life coaches. We get to call in our therapists. And it may be saying no to the old belief that you can do it alone. You don't have to. And most times you're not, you just can't see it. And the thing is, again, so what was you must say no to? Say no to those blinders that you have on about other people, places, and things. Say no to caring about people. Say no to defending yourself. Say no to, you know what? I've come to I don't need anybody to know my side of the story. Coming to that conclusion wasn't easy, but as I started to grow and relationships fell to the wayside, I would hear things that people would say, and I just was like, okay, I don't need to defend myself anymore. When you come to know who you are, and you come to love yourself, I just don't even have the energy to put in defending anymore. So why am I telling you this? What must you say no to? Maybe saying no to defending things that don't even need defense anymore. Just walking away from it all. Walking away from it all. I don't need to explain anything anymore. So, what are some of the things that you can do? Walk along, do a 21-day journey to loving you. Start journaling every single day. Do something that you love. What is one thing? Say to yourself, what is one thing I can do today to love on me? And do that. It doesn't always have to be big. Sometimes it's having your favorite coffee. Sometimes it's taking a walk outside. Sometimes it's just not answering your phone. Sometimes it's saying no to social media, saying no to those people, places or things that don't serve you anymore. Saying no. What are those things? So just work on loving you. Don't get bogged down by the holidays. If you're feeling anxious and you want to talk to somebody, reach out. Please don't do it alone. info@moesass.com. Even if it's just a conversation on how to get through the holiday season. Stop pressuring yourself when you don't even need to be pressured. Okay? And next Sunday, we're going to pick this up and we're going to keep talking about the holiday season as it approaches. So I'm trying to keep giving you tips and tools on how to get through it. But right now, today, all I need for you to do is reflect and ask yourself, what must you say no to walking to your new beginning? And 11/11 is coming up. It's a powerful day of manifestation. And here's the thing. When you want those things to manifest in your life, that means you have to ground. But it also means that you have to say no to some things. So make room for the new, beautiful beginnings in your life. I hope you have the most amazing, amazing Sunday. I love you. info@moesass.com. www.moesass.com. If you know you're ready to book with me, life coaching with the W with Sass on Instagram and Facebook. If you just want to follow me for inspiration, I love you. Have the most amazing day.